Hey guys, welcome back. My name is Fahd Dawood. I talk about real estate internationally, Dubai, sometimes very specifically, your life and my life, and our path to financial bliss. Look, when you're in the thick of buying a property, the buyer wants to save the most money, the seller wants to make the most money, and the agent just kind of pretty much wants the deal done so he can get his commission and buy his wife a Louis Vuitton, a Gucci, or a Hermes bag. Okay. I'm going to talk about something for everybody when you're in the midst, the thick of the deal, and lessons to be learned. Before I go further, hit the subscribe button, press the bell icon. Look, help me get to 1 million subscribers. It's fun. My kids will think I'm a real YouTuber and we can go to VideoCon together. Okay, now we're back. When you're looking to purchase a property, I promise you, I'm going to give you some advice that's going to be relevant for all three people, okay? The buyer, the seller, and the agent. And hopefully we come to a win-win situation for everybody if you follow this procedure, okay? Let's start with if you are a buyer. Let's start if you're a buyer. Look, if you're a buyer and you've been going around the property market for the last 3 to 4 months, and now you've zeroed in on this one building or perhaps one project and one particular property type that you're absolutely certain that you do want, here's how you should approach it, okay? You should maneuver yourself behind the best agent of that area who's got the best relationship with the seller of that singular property. Now here's the thing, how would you find that out? You'd find that out by calling the agents and interviewing them, okay? Why should you do this? Because if you deal, let's say on that one property with 3 different agents, because sometimes a listing is not exclusive, it's not with one agent, it could be with 3 different agents. Unfortunately, all 3 agents, before they communicate with you or while they're communicating with you, are also going to communicate, whether phone, WhatsApp, or in person, with the seller on the other side. The reason is agents obviously want to know from the seller if the property is still available, what's the rock bottom price, etc, etc. And at this stage, the agent's also going to reveal to the seller. So remember, right now I'm talking about the buyer, but the agent that you're dealing with is going to reveal to the seller that I've got a buyer. Now, some agents aren't going to be smart enough to know your nationality, your background, your name, but the sellers might ask, who is it? Do you know a name? The agent's not going to most likely tell them, right? At this stage, because it's preliminary stage. And some sellers aren't going to be smart enough and not experienced enough to ask the agent, who is it? Can you give me the name of the buyer? Could you give me their nationality? But what's going to happen is, from the buyer, there's 3 agents now going to the seller and asking him about the property. Now as a buyer, think about it. Put yourself in the seller's shoes. What happens at this stage? Obviously, the seller at this stage feels that there are 3 genuine buyers for that one particular property. Now, if you were a seller and you had this great news of 3 buyers vying for your property, we'd have a situation that we have in, for instance, Toronto, where people would overbid the asking price to just get your property, right? So you're probably thinking, hey, awesome, this is cool. I've got a situation where there's several buyers. Now this is what the seller's thinking. Now the seller's thinking, I'm going to be strict on my price and the terms, perhaps even increase the price, right? A little bit. So Mr. Buyer, this is the result of dealing with 3 different agents. So what you should essentially be doing is dealing with only one agent. You interview them, ask them about the property, how much do they know about it? And trust me, out of all the agents, there'll be one who knows the seller best. And how do you get to know that he or she knows the seller best? Ask them the question. How long has this property been on the market? How long you've been working on it? How long have you known the seller? Now, if the agent tells you it's been on the market 3 months, I've been working it for 3 months, I know the seller for about 7 years. Yeah, 7 years, and I've sold hundreds of millions of worth of property for them. Boom, you know this agent knows exactly how this seller operates and will make sure the deal goes through smooth. On to the seller side. Mr. Seller, If you're looking to sell a property, it's in your best interest to deal with one agent and let that competent and honest agent deal on your property exclusively. Okay, now I say competent and honest. How do you find a competent and honest agent? You interview 5 agents, you ask them the questions. What do you think should be the market price? What are you going to do in terms of marketing? How are you going to bring me offers? And then you allow all offers to be routed through that one agent, because that one agent can control the offers coming to you and make sure that there's no duplication of offers, right? So he knows that there aren't 3 offers, there's one buyer, there's one offer. And sometimes a deal is in the offing and it just needs to be put together in the right way. And this is where the agent, if you're listening in, right, this is where your role comes in. You gotta manage expectations on both sides with logic, with market data, with your experience, and try to bridge the gap so that they both meet at the best price. Now notice that I don't say the least price for the buyer or the most price for the seller. I'm talking about the best price, because sometimes the buyer is going to be willing to come up on the price that they feel is the lowest that they would like to get the property up for, because they like the property so much, they're willing to come up a little bit. The seller is willing to go down a little bit just because they're willing to make the deal, make it happen, and move on. Now, meeting them here is the most important thing, and that's the agent's job, to manage expectations and bring them close, which is why you, Mr. Buyer, which is why you, Mr. Seller, should ideally deal with one honest and competent agent so that the communication is streamlined and a deal is easier for all parties to be made and everybody comes out win-win, right? I prefer a win-win situation. I heard one time somebody say that everybody should go away from the table having had a feeling that they lost. Every party should feel that they lost, because then they'll feel that they've really won. I'm not sure about this philosophy, that if the buyer goes away thinking that they paid too much and the seller goes away thinking they brought the price too low. I'm not sure. I'm not in favor of this. I would rather that everybody's happy, creates a win-win, there's good energy exchange, and everybody's, asking the things to be blessed for everybody, right? You don't want to cheat the seller, you don't want to cheat the buyer, and definitely don't want to cheat the agent, right? Okay, I hope this helps and allows buyers to utilize this information in some way, or sellers to utilize this information as well. Look, hit the subscribe button, press the bell icon. If you want to work one-on-one with me, you can reach me on WhatsApp. If you want to comment in the comment section, general questions, I'm happy to answer. Ciao for now. Talk to you on the other side.